Hello everyone, Jaime Mantilla here, and in this video I'm going to show you a bug tracking tool that I built using AI, okay? So if you've seen my previous videos, you kind of know the drill. In this case, I have a backlog of items that I've been working on. Here's the bug tracking tool. I've created some videos. Some of these videos I'm posting in my community, on my training. So right now, give me 1 second here. If you're a visitor, you can see the training, and then here's where I'm posting all the apps. So all the apps that I've built, that I created videos for, putting them here under the apps repos, including the link, creating a video as well. As you can see, there's some videos that are coming soon. One of those is this one, this bug tracking tool, which is the one that I'm building as we speak. That is what it's going to get in the next few days. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of explain you why I came out about this specific tool, how I was able to create it using Claude and using AI without touching a line of code, which is the most important thing here. You don't have to be technical. You don't have to know code. Right now, anybody can go into all the LLMs, the large language models, which are, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude. There's many out there. Right now, I'm using ChatGPT to get ideas or brainstorm ideas. And then I'm using Claude to generate the code. And it has been working for me. So that's the thing that I'm continuing to use. There's another tool coming up. I mentioned it in the last video. It is called cursor.ai. Let me see if I can cursor AI. And I've used it a little bit, but this is next level of what we're doing right now. Right now, we're going here, we're taking the information, then we're getting a structure, we're building everything in Visual Studio Code. So a lot of copy pasting, generating the same structure that we're getting here. In this case, cursor.ai, it would generate the code and everything that you need in order for you to run the app. So I need to play with it a little bit more, and then I will show you how it's done. That way you can use it and learn from it. It's like math, right? So when you're at school, you learn how to do math on paper, and then you're given the calculator, and then you're like blown away, and you just start doing things faster, being more efficient. So that's kind of what I do in my life. I'm trying to figure out what is the best way of me doing things, being more efficient, learning more, all that good stuff. And that's what I'm going to be posting throughout the next year, or throughout this year, 2025, in order for me to learn, in order for you to learn. If you get value out of this, great. And that's the goal, right? So I'll put all the information below, but let's get started. So for this specific tool, in software testing, there's different tools that you utilize. One of those is a bug tracking tool. There's many tools that are already out there in the market. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel or be the next big thing about these tools, because, Azure and all these other companies, they already have very, very robust tooling. So it is more of me kind of creating a challenge for me to be like, okay, am I able to create a tool that is going to help me do the same thing that I'm doing in a big corporation or an enterprise, right? If somebody could use these on a startup, or even as an individual freelancer or contractor, where you're like, okay, do I have a tool to track bugs? Normally you would do it on a spreadsheet if you don't have the tools, but if you can start using a tool, even learning how to build stuff for your own, learn a little bit on the way while you do that, why not, right? So that's the reason why I was like, okay, I was challenged to be like, okay, am I able to create a bug tracking tool? We're trying to solve a problem for companies that don't have a bug tracking tool. I'm not saying that this is perfect and this is not production ready, but at least it will get you started, or give you like a blueprint for you to follow and perhaps create your own tool. Okay. I want to give you the link so that you can clone it, you can enhance it, you can tweak it, you can add new features, you can do whatever you want with it. But the idea is for you to be able, again, to open up your mind to new things and experiment. That way you can actually convince yourself that you're able to do it as well. So everybody's capable. If you know how to type, if you know how to write English, if you know how to break down concepts, I think you'll be great using Claude to be able to build any tools. Okay. So I'm just gonna go over what I wrote for the prompt. I'm gonna go quickly over the files that he generated. Then I'm gonna jump into the tool, make sure that it's working as expected. Again, it's not perfect. It's an MVP, a minimum viable product or a proof of concept. I'm gonna run the test. Hopefully they work. If they don't work, then we're gonna troubleshoot it on the call, on the video, or here with me. And then once it is ready, or I feel like it's at a good state, I will publish it and then share it with you guys. All right? Sounds good. And again, below, you're going to find all the information. If you have any ideas of generation of tools, something that you want to build, something that is a small to medium size, not very complex, enterprise-like, something that can be used leveraging these tools without writing any lines of code, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to create more videos about these tools, share it with you, and have fun. All right? Okay. So this is the prompt that I use. So you're a Python engineer. And again, this is very repetitive. You have to find patterns and you have to find what works for you. In this case, this is working for me. So this is what I'm utilizing. All right. So you're a Python engineer and your task is to build an app using Python and Streamlit. Please use the solid coding standards to keep code organized and build unit tests to make sure that everything works as expected. Here's the example you want to build. So it's a bug tracking tool. Description: a lightweight bug tracker that testers can use for small projects. Okay. Features: create, assign, and track bugs, categorize bugs by severity and priority, generate bug reports in PDF, Excel formats, dashboard with bug analytics. Okay. Build the app ideas, or make. So in this case, again, this is a typo, but it understands it. So it's build app ideas using Python. I don't even know what I typed here, but anyways, build app ideas using Python and Streamlit. Provide detailed instructions for each file, comments to understand code structure, unit test, and readme.md. Lastly, create a UI mockup if you can, based on the Streamlit code you created. Okay, again, I'm not editing this out. This is how it came out. This is what I typed back then. I don't know exactly make to build up. I don't exactly know what I meant here. But again, even though with typos and mistakes that we make as human beings, you can see that it still understands you and helps you with what you want to accomplish. Okay. So this is the structure. As you can see, it's a pretty lengthy structure where you have the models, the services, the database, and utils. You have tests, pages, and so forth. So that's what we're supposed to be creating here. So as you can see, we have pages, reports, source, database, model, services, utils, test, and that's it. Okay. So it's pretty lengthy. Copy. That's kind of what I don't like about this thing. I wanted to build something. In fact, I could probably show you a tool that I was trying to build to generate the code for me, but then I found Cursor, and that's probably where I'm going to be building these next videos. Okay. So again, it goes through each file. You have the code. Just make sure that you check the comments, because not every time you would have the code for each one file. So most of the time it is shared or, with one or multiple. So just be careful, kind of go over it, making sure you see this one has one here. So this one has two. So just go through every single file. It generates the code for every single file. Sometimes it clumps them together. In this case, it didn't finish. So I tell it continue, because sometimes it just gets stuck. So I tell it continue, and it continue with the unit test. So in this case, I knew that it didn't finish, because here the function, it just defined the function, but it didn't have anything else under. So I was like, okay, we'll continue. And here it defined the function, and then it finished it. Okay. So it created the README. That's fine. Requirements.txt, database manager. It explains the solid standard, which is single responsibility principles, open-close principles, the least bug substitution principles, interface segregation principles, and dependency inversion principles. All this to say, you want separate concepts. You want to be able to, you don't want repetitive code. You want to make sure that it's separate. You want to make sure that it's easy to understand and easy to debug. Pretty much making sure that it's well structured. You don't want all the code in one file, because then that is not understandable. It's hard to troubleshoot and so forth. So this is all that it means, okay? Gives you the instructions. I try to run it. It gave me an error, so I just posted the error. You can tell it, hey, analyze and troubleshoot, or just post the error. And it said, aha, I see, the error occurs because we need to structure our test files so it kind of knows what to do. It updates the files. Then it tells you, hey, run it. Got another error. And it gave me another structure. More files, bug models, bug service, so forth. And if we go back down, you see there's a bunch of errors. So it's iteration until you get the outcome that you want. Errors. And here, I was actually looking at it today for this video. And I had not touched it like in a month, right? That's when I first built it, and I just left it there. And I got this error today. So when I try to bring it up, so you can see that here. I just did this. So you have, I try to create the environment. It just started, downloading all the dependencies. And I started getting these errors, and I was like, what's going on? So I tried to run it, gave me an error. I tried to upgrade, gave me an error. Then again, try to run it, gave me an error. Try to upgrade a Streamlit. That helped me show you here. Help me see the UI, right? And the error itself. So I knew that at that point when I upgraded the Streamlit, okay, so that was a good move. And then it was showing like this. So I just copy this. And you can see that here. And paste it. And it's saying, hey, this error typically occurs due to a version incompatibility between NumPy and Pandas. Let's fix this by updating the requirements that text, that txt file. So it gave me these libraries or dependencies. Okay. Then it told me to uninstall NumPy and Pandas. Then it asked me to run again these the requirements.txt to be able to install them again. And it gave me two options. Either you want to install the requirements.txt, or you can do pip install and then install whatever we need to upgrade or downgrade or whatever these specific libraries. So NumPy, Pandas, Streamlit, and Plotly. Okay. So once I did that, it created or it run the tool. So in this case, it already has a database in it. It has some test data that I have created. So I'm just gonna kind of walk you through it real quick. So you have the apps itself. You have a navigation for create bug list, and reports. You have the analytics. So at this point in time, we have 4 total bugs: 1 open, 1 to be resolved. I don't even know if this is accurate, or maybe it's missing some of the labels here. So it's 1 open, 1 resolved. Maybe I want to check, see if we have some close. Actually, yeah, we have some close. Yeah, we have 1. So this is good. So it's 1 open. So it's 1 in progress, 1 open, 1 close, and 1 resolved. So it's saying how many are open, how many are resolved. Maybe we need to tell it, hey, add another 2 labels for these other ones. But we have this chart, and this chart gives you, the graph of the distribution of these bugs, right? Bug creation trends over time. Since I have not created anything today, then there's nothing to track here. We can test one in a minute. And then priority and severity heat map. So it's critical, high, low, medium. We have the bug list. So in this case, we have bug 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 open, in progress, resolve. Severities low, medium, high, critical, and the priorities assigned to me. This has a filter where you can filter by status, by severity, and by priority. Okay. Let's see the reports. Probably want to go back 2014 till now. Additional filters. Actually, so it shows the preview of what is going to generate. Report generated. Download report. And let's see what it generates. And it gives me the list of bugs, right? So this is beauty. To me, again, to be an MVP, to be something as a proof of concept, I'm not trying to be the next Microsoft or the next HP or anything like that. But again, this is pretty useful for a tool that was built within an hour and that can be optimized, that is free. So it's like, it's a no-brainer. Okay. Now, let's see these drop downs. So you have create bug list, same thing. And then reports, same thing. So let's just create a bug and say demo, video, demo. Or let's say issue with dependencies. Okay. That's what we encountered today. The description is bug tracking tool. It didn't start properly. It is through error. Okay. So again, just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to take this and I'm going to paste it there. This is what it does. This is what we saw. Okay. This is the error. Okay. That's fine. Let's say this is critical because the application is not working. Let's say this is high priority because the application is not working. So let's say if this was a production application where you're making money, and if it's not working, then you're losing money at this point in time. So it's very critical. You need developers to fix it immediately. And this has to be brought up. You have to bring it to somebody's attention in order for somebody to fix it. Okay. In this case, I'm going to assign it to me. It says to reproduce. Let's say step 1, clone code, clone bug, track it to repo. Number 2, we want to spin up virtual environment. 3, install dependencies. The more detailed, the better. So let's say if you say, hey, this is what I did. This is the command that I use. So you can be very specific. Say, hey, this is what I use. And maybe the developer is going to come and, hey, this is not supposed to be that way, or this is supposed to be that way. That way, you know exactly which steps were followed in order to replicate the issue. So install dependencies. So we say pip install our report txt. And again, and don't mind the typos and things like that. Command run and command run. Then environment. Okay. And then step 4, run for freeing up application. Command run. We have a Streamlit. Run. PY. Okay. So we have the bug title, we have the description, we have the severity, the priority, and we have the steps to reproduce. And this is to give to the developer so they know what to do. That way they can either track the exact they can see what the steps were in order to reproduce it. To make sure they can reproduce it, they maybe make sure that the steps are correct. That way that can be accomplished. And then based on that, you will know exactly where the error is, and they would have to troubleshoot just like we did here in Claude. Okay. So expected result, bug tracking. Displayed correctly. Or yeah, display correctly. Display home page. Okay. Actual error. UI with error. In this case, we don't have an option to upload a file. And that could be something that you can just take this repo and start playing around with Claude and be like, hey, check this code. Make sure that you add an option to upload the screenshots, which is very useful when you're like adding bugs to a tool or giving it to your developing team. Okay, so in this case, we're creating. So it's create bug. It gives you the balloons. Bug created successfully. Great. Let's go back to, there you go. Okay, so now you can see bug creation over time. So it was today. So it's giving you the graph. The more I add, I'm sure that the more the graph will show. Now in this case, hey, we have a critical. Now we have 2 bugs open. The list of bugs, as you can see here, issue with dependencies is down here. We don't want to create another bug. Again, I gave you the demo right now. Today is the 17th. If the bug is generated, let me see the preview. Again, this is what we have currently in the backlog, and that should do it. So I hope this was useful. Again, for the fellow professionals that are in software engineering, QA, analyst, automation engineer, software testers, SDETs, or even for developers, this is something that it can be utilized. But, this is probably better understood by the people that are within that field. But for those that are not in tech and want to understand software testing is a very crucial part of software development lifecycle. And this is one of the areas where things need to be tracked correctly. And that's part of the testing process, right? So as you test the application, as you make sure that functionally is working as expected and based on user requirements, this is something that you will need to do in order for you to be able to work with the team, and in order for you to be able, or for the team to be able to deliver an application that is high quality and is functional for whatever company you're working for, or for a client, or if you have, if you're a contractor for the specific client or the company that you're working for. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. If you have any questions, again, if you have any comments of tools or questions in general, put them down into the comments. I'll be happy to respond them to you and interact with you, and even build tools that you recommend depending on the complexity. But that's it. I want to thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Thank you.